What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Sports Bible Podcast with another playoff episode, round 2 coming up. I am Richie. I'm here with Rob, who looks like he's fresh off Coachella. Besides that, I think we're going to get right into it. It's been a fun series. Let's give a round of applause for Rob, way to sweep those Celtics. Kyrie blaming the media again. So glad they're out.
I mean, yeah, we left off and it was 1-0. We still were saying Celtics in 7. I tweeted it at you when it happened, and I knew I was going to do that, and that's what you said. You're like, I mean, you hope it's 4, but you think it's 6 or 7, and it happened. I mean, game 2, Brooklyn let it slip again, 17-point lead. And Boston's defense was just the story of the series. Tatum on Durant, like there was plays where he was blocking his jump shot straight on, and I think he had 15 points on him all series. And he was ready for that challenge. Clapping, tough. He had a fire under him. And, yeah, Brooklyn let that lead slip in game 2. Pritchard and Brown took him home.
Pritchard had a couple big shots.
I mean, you heard me saying it, like when they let go of Dennis. It's just like this was the role he deserved, and he showed that his rookie year. And, yeah, he's the confidence level. Like, he plays like a veteran. I've been on a high since Monday night. Like, that's why I'm wearing these shades. It's beautiful. And, like, so then game 3.
You got to block out the haters.
Game 3 was it's funny, I'm like with the hand motions. I was actually like just looking at the one video I posted, and I was laughing at like me like rambling about them and going like this. But, so, yeah, game 3, Brooklyn was just terrible. The effort level is just not there besides Bruce Brown and Blake Griffin. And then Steve Nash was like an idiot for not playing them. But it's a plethora of it all led by him. Terrible personnel, terrible coach, no effort. KD and a bunch of smalls, no defense. I told you it was like the Lakers coming in on D. And like that's basically how it was. And Jalen took Blake on Blake Island, made him dance. Like
Blake, he didn't really stop him, but you could tell he was like really like showing out and like trying.
Bringing energy. Yeah, he knew. Yeah. He was like, all right, I'm providing a spark, and that's what he had the crowd going.
Sure, yeah.
It looked like the Blake Griffin game, and they would have, if they won, it would have been because of him, and then Jalen just made him dance. And game 4 was close. Claxton missed 10 free throws, and Marcus
I didn't see that. I was at class.
He did. He was 0 for 10.
0 for 10?
Dude, I swear. It started in the very beginning. And then Marcus.
I didn't see that.
Unreal line from Marcus. Like I've said to you all season, the troopers, the heart and souls that'll keep everyone together. Marcus and Al really performed all series. And then the amazing thing was that Rob came back. I mean, we were talking about it last week, and we were like, is he really? He only missed 2 postseason games. We got the play out of Tice that I love. We love Pritchard's improvement. Like I said, Brown was – I mean, we talked about Kyrie and Ramadan. Like, Brown did it, and he never lost a step. And, yeah, it's just – this is a parade, especially what happened last year with Kyrie and with the logo and with him pointing fingers at us. And then how, of course, like we said, this is the most amazing turnaround ever. So, like, this is really a parade from where we were. And now, like I said to you before we recorded this, Vegas really sees it. Like, we're second in title odds.
What's the odds?
For the title, it's Golden State, then Boston. And I'm pretty sure it was Curry for Finals MVP, then Tatum. But Bill Simmons said it best, like, go Nerds. I mean, they see it in Boston, and, like, Vegas sees it.
I'm looking right now.
What did you say?
Yeah, they're third. They're the favorites in the East.
Cool. So, who's second now? Phoenix?
They're 1, Phoenix. Golden State 2.
All right, respect.
Well, I think that might be because Booker came back.
Yeah, of course. They didn't even think of that. And what were we saying? Another thing Bill said, what were we say? Like, in December, we're like, oh, they need a point guard. Need someone to calm things down. Like, don't break up the Jays, idiots. And, like, he was on the team. Marcus Smart. like never like the hidden point guard, defensive player of the year. And this is really his best all-around season. And, yeah, with Brooklyn, it's a plethora of it all. And, you could say Steve Nash led this mess. You could say it was Durant's injury. You could say the Harden thing. But who was the first domino back in September? It was Irving. And it's like him putting every single personal decision he had before his job. Like, James probably wouldn't have
I saw you said that. On Twitter, I saw you said that.
Yeah, and like people are right when Stephen A. is like, I don't know if he's worth a max deal anymore. Like,
no, unless it's like super game by game based.
Yeah, like people are like, oh, like he's eligible for 5 years, 248. Nikola Jokic is going to get 258. Like, if Kyrie was to get 4 or 5 years, it's a money bonus. You got to play 60 plus games, and we'll give you the extra year. We know he's an all-around one of the most talented players of all time, but it's like, dude, you're not winning, and you don't do your job. Like,
I think I have a good way to put this. He's a max talent, but not a max NBA player.
And like you could say like 50, 40, 90, like his numbers when he goes off, he barely misses. Like,
yeah, but when you play 20 games.
Yeah, and Nick Wright said it. Like, Drew Holiday has made more of an impact in the postseason since 2017, since him, or
for sure,
more than him. And yeah, it's just like with them. And then he's sitting up at the podium, like we said last week. Everything's an excuse to just give myself the high ground, like him tweeting puppets for whoever calls him out. Like, Stephen A. was right to call him out, and like everything he's been explaining about the situation is true. Like, it can't be any more real. Same with Kendrick Perkins. And then he's like, oh, we haven't had time to gel, while like Boston and other teams have.
Well, whose fault is that?
I wonder why. What'd you say?
Whose fault is that?
Exactly. I wonder why, Kai. And like, this is really just beautiful, and I expect these two to be a rivalry for years to come. I'm not afraid of Ben Simmons. I'm sorry. I mean, they are going to be good next year. I don't think Steve should be back, even though he was dealt a tough hand of cards. But, like, new personnel, revamped second unit, some more effort, and then you got a good big three, and they'll be back. But, like, this Boston thing will be nice for a while.
I don't know. I forgot who said it on ESPN, but I was home early on Wednesday. What do you call it? Oh, the Nets with Ben Simmons. He said, I'm not going to say they're contenders if and when he plays, because we don't know if he's going to play. Like, we don't know if these guys like are going to truly play. Like, hurt, not hurt. Like, I don't know. I mean, if Ben Simmons is actually hurt, I get it, but it doesn't – it's just he's not giving off a good track record in any spot he's been in. Yeah, and that's not me being a hater. That's just me. Like, why are we still waiting on this guy?
I mean, I felt like you when all the analysts and reporters were tweeting about his heist and saying, like, man, like, he really pulled that off. And, like,
he filed grievance.
Yeah. Well, I love the heat that he was getting from, like, once he was ruled out for Game 4. And he's like, oh, I'm targeting this, I'm targeting that. He just wanted to play. And Nash was like, I don't know if he's ready. And it's just – and then I saw after Game 3 when they're down 3-0, you might have saw it on Twitter, Kyrie and Kevin weren't even in the gym. Like, they were just
no, it was Nash.
Yeah. So, like, Ben's thing was, I guess I feel for him if, like, you got, a mental block that's, like, giving you the back problems. But it's like, I mean, you never know what someone's going through.
It's still your job, though.
Yeah, It's like, get him the help, get him the
therapy. I get it. I get the mental health. But at the same time, you're going to have to – if you want to get the money that you're filing grievance for, you have to eventually play.
Yeah, it's like we don't know if he's not being a Kyrie Irving low-key.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And it's really just been a beautiful season. Bless you if that was a sneeze. I don't think it was. But no, but it's really just been a beautiful week. Like, and just when we went up 2-0, I was just so happy. And then 3-0, it felt like it's really just been a parade. And it's just the way we played, the way Ime was ready. Like we were like, if we're trying to do something special, we're not taking any shortcuts. And
He was. Did you see that play with Grant Williams?
what,
It was like a baseline play under the hoop, and they had a set
dude?
play, and he goes, Grant. Like that's just heady.
Oh
That's
my God.
that's just.
That was
But like
running
as a
circles.
defender, how do you? Who was defending him?
It was a small guy. I
Was it
forget.
Bruce Brown?
He just goes like, I think it might be, but he just goes like,
I'm gonna try to find it now. Now, sorry to
on
the
my
listeners,
Twitter
but
somewhere. It's definitely on my Twitter
I
somewhere.
should type in Grant Williams. I mean, it's not like his highlights are really gonna
Or
blow
Udoka.
off my page.
Try Udoka, maybe.
I'm gonna type in Grant Williams, Ime Udoka.
Yeah. That just showed they're running circles around
Oh, here we
now.
go. I think that's Seth Curry.
That is who it was. Yeah, he is also barbecue chicken. The whole team is.
But that's just heady basketball. But if you watch you watch the set, they were probably setting up for him to get screened anyway. But
And then, like, dude, the Jays were fiending for Kyrie Irving to be on them. Like, they were having their way with him. And, like, Simmons could help a lot of things, but, like, dude, he hasn't played in about a year now. Like, it's very close
almost,
to
yeah,
it.
and it's gonna be 2.
It's just like, you really, like, I don't want to see come July, August, you and LA Fitness putting up 40-foot three-pointers with Rajon Rondo and nailing them, too. It's my guy. You know that, Rondo. But, like, it's just – we know what's going to happen come October, so, like, don't tease us. I mean, he probably will be playing. That's what we're hoping, knock on wood. I mean, as basketball fans, not as Knicks and Celtics fans.
I
But,
was gonna say something with the Knicks. If it's crazy, the Knicks had like a down year, obviously a disappointing year. The Nets made the playoffs, and I still think the Knicks came out of this season with more success because like you had to like you couldn't like all this season did for the Knicks was tell you that Julius Randle was an anomaly last year. He's just a 2010 volume scorer. That's what he is. No problem. And RJ grew, Toppin grew, quickly grew. The Nets had a guy who didn't show up half the time, a guy who's I think he's targeting game 8, and Kevin Durant, who, as good as he is thin as saran wrap when it comes to being like criticized.
and I just want to say this, too, speaking of him. Arguably the greatest scorer of all time. Me and you say it. We're fans.
Yeah.
Next to Jordan, next to Kobe. But, like, one, you're going to be 34. Like, his birthday's around yours. He's going to be 34. And, like, you're getting clamped by Tatum, who wanted the challenge, who a lot of people are thinking Tatum is, like, entering the Kawhi Leonard range with, like, that ability on defense.
He's better.
Love that. Making his teammates better with the playmaking, the defense, and obviously creating and carrying a team on offense. But it's like I never want to hear, and you know I was big on like, oh, KD's better. I never want to hear any KD LeBron comparisons again. And you could say, all right, 2018, that Celtic team, basically the same team they have now. It's a little different. No Rozier, obviously, no Marcus Morris, no Baines, guys like that. But it's like LeBron played the baby Celtics at 34, took them down with George Hill. Like, I get it. This is like an all-time defense, too. Like, a lot of people are comparing him to like the 04 Pistons, like all-time great defenses that could win it. And like, no matter how great the D is, like you got it. LeBron would have figured it out. And like, same with Kyrie. Like, yeah, most skilled duo ever. But it's like, you guys couldn't win a game, dog. And like, yeah, Kyrie deserves to be on the all-time top 75 list. I don't want to hear he's better than Damian Lillard. I don't want to hear he's better than Chris Paul.
Wait, who? Kyrie?
Yeah, and I don't want to hear KD's better than LeBron. And he's not better than Giannis Antetokounmpo either. He's 26 years old.
Kyrie, talent-wise, skill-wise, he's incredible to watch. But
the real argument is him compared is like he's third behind Steph and Luka. But like realistically, he's not better than Paul now.
See,
I mean,
and like Morant, Trey Young.
I mean, I'd argue Trey. Me and my friend were saying the other day, we were like, I'm ready to put Ja over him. Who did I
Yeah,
say?
I think when you don't play, like that just happens. And it's not like a lot of people have the argument. I don't know if you do you know what the Pick a Side podcast is with Joel Moran and then like his friends. It's pretty cool. It's like kids our age. And
Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
the guy made the argument like when a guy gets injured and they sit a year like Dame, all of a sudden everyone's better than them. It happened in baseball, Mike Trout, and football, Mike Thomas. And
Recency bias, yeah.
but the thing with Kyrie is that he's not injured. You know, like he's not like he's choosing not to play. And the vaccine, that's a whole different thing. But it's if it wasn't the vaccine, it would be something else.
And dude, like, even if it is that, like, you still did it, and like you're getting swept smiling.
Yeah, like now you can play. Like views aside, that you couldn't get, you didn't want the shot. That's on you. Like not on you, but that's what you want to do. But now you can play, and you get swept. So you lost 2 games in Brooklyn, which was basically the TD Garden.
I mean, we knew it was too. Like Nick Wright was tweeting like, "Why is the ticket so expensive?" One
Because the Celtics are there.
matchup, and like, yeah, we knew there'd be so much green,
Oh yeah.
so much. Like it's like Yankee fans traveling.
Yeah. So you want to get into our teams or all NBA teams?
Sure, we did the first team.
Yeah,
last
we could just reiterate it. Mine is I got Luka. I picked Tatum over Booker. Then I got Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic. I went with the 2 centers because I think they're eligible. And then we'll just reiterate yours.
Yeah, Book, Luka, Giannis, Tatum, Jokic is my first team. Just because,
Okay.
you could argue, like I've said it for weeks, you could argue the 2 centers, this and that. Like we saw how Jokic just did against Draymond, and like in the first round, there's no wrong answer with either of them. But like I'm expecting Jokic gets my vote because I'm expecting the win, and like he's obviously give him, like we've said, give him Tobias Harris, Maxey.
Or just his healthy team.
Yes.
You know? Did you see what he said?
He doesn't give a shit about the MVP.
No, my dad told me that they asked him about the contract, like the max. And he goes, if they offer it, I'll sign it. If they offer it, bro, that thing has been written up since the year started.
He's got to be the best Nugget ever, too, right? I was thinking this yesterday. Besides, like, Iverson, who am I forgetting?
Carmelo.
I mean, we know he's up there. I feel like there's someone else I'm forgetting, too.
Well, like Mutombo. I think he was he on the Nuggets? Wow. I shouldn't say that if I don't know. He was?
Yeah.
I mean, J.R. Smith. Hey, the academic, what was he, an academic athlete of the year for the school? Congrats to J.R. And he met up with Iman Shumpert. That was pretty cool. That brought back memories. Love that team.
Yeah, I'm sure you like that. I used to be a big J.R. hater just because he would mess with Smart and they'd beef. But, like, now he's cool. Stuff like that.
I'm trying to think. No, I think, like, Melo. I mean, Iverson's, like, a true sixer, in my opinion. But probably Melo and Jokic. I'm trying to think of, like.
I looked it up. Alex English, Carmelo, Dan Isel or Issel. I've heard of him. Forget how you pronounce it. Jokic, Mutombo, Iverson, Chauncey Billups.
Yeah. So, yeah, probably Melo and Jokic.
Not that rich of an organization.
Ooh, you can go a half hour, 40 minutes on who's better there. Because Melo's had more playoff success. He did get to the Western Conference Finals with the quote-unquote Thuggets, which whatever. Whoever said that, I don't even know who said that. What?
Quick space out. I got to piss before we do the teams.
All right. I'll keep them talking so I don't got to cut anything. Look at his Coachella shirt, guys. That's sick.
I was thinking, I had the shades on. I'm like, should I keep the shirt on? And then I was like, down.
Yeah. All right, guys. So while Rob's gone, I'm just going to do a quick plug. Don't forget to follow us on Sports Bible. on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. It's Sports Bible Pod everywhere. We're working on more shorts, more videos. Also, let us know in the comments. Would you rather us post the entire podcast on YouTube or do like segments so you guys can listen to them in separate like videos? I know from like a podcast listener, I like things like separate so I can see them like the exact topic I want to listen to. So please let us know. I'm going to also post it on my personal Instagram as well as the Sports Bible Instagram. Thank you guys for sticking around. And we're going to keep growing this channel. Yeah, I just did a quick plug before you, so I don't gotta make any drastic changes. But so Melo Jokic, that's an off-season conversation. But so we get the team started. So my second team, at point guard, I got Trey. At 2, I got Book, I got Devin Booker. Which 3, I put LeBron. I mean, the year he's not on an All-NBA team is the year he's probably retiring. 4, I got KD. I know he missed time, but his numbers are just great. And 5, despite people hating him because he's a nice guy, Karl Anthony Towns.
Wow.
You're a completely different team?
Not completely different, but like some some
Call me an idiot. I don't
unexpected.
care.
It's getting high.
Call me an idiot. I don't care.
What'd you say?
You can call me an idiot. I don't care.
No, I don't think that's idiotic. I'm just surprised that like a couple of the high praise.
Trae Young.
So yeah, I got KD, LeBron, Joel.
I got receipts if you need.
LeBron, KD, Joel, and then John, Steph. Simple as that.
Well, you had Book on the first team, right?
Mm-hmm. So 2 is your other guard?
Booker.
Besides him. Young? Yeah.
And then LeBron and KD. Wait, so you had LeBron, KD, Joel, John, Steph?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because you had Booker on the first team.
Yep.
Gotcha. So points per game, Trae Young 28, Ja 27. Assists per game, Trae Young 9.
I know they are.
Ja 6.
I mean, hey, wait, let me bring this up first. I can't believe was it me saying Ja was going to win Most Improved back in December? I mean, I thought it was changing. I didn't keep that prediction. I thought it should have been Jordan Poole.
I said Darius Garland, right?
You said Garland, I think. Yeah. I said Poole. Or no, I changed the Poole, but back then when we did it during my recovery, I was like, yeah, I'll take Ja just because, yeah, it's only like a 5 to 7 point upgrade, but like he's a superstar now. But obviously, like, another tough thing is how great they were without him. But like,
and I agree with Draymond Green, and this is actually a compliment to John Morant. He's too good to win Most Improved. Like, when you're the second overall pick, you're expected to improve.
That's what you said to me in December, and then that was the point I made, and then I slowly started to agree with you.
Like Desmond Bain is. Did you see what he did? He like left it on like his kitchen counter. John Morant gave Desmond Bain the.
Yeah, I did see that.
But anyway, like Bain, like
good last night too.
He was expected to. He wasn't expected to make that leap. Like DeJounte Murray, same. Darius Garland, like John Morant was supposed to be this superstar. When you're picked like 6 or 7 in the NBA, it's basically getting picked in like the second round in the NFL, the third round, which is not an insult. Getting drafted, I would never. Look at these shoulders. Yeah, I ain't playing professional sports.
You could argue like Maxey too, like behind like in like the Poole range.
Do you want to do early Most Improved for next year? Because what's yours and why is it RJ Barrett?
That'd be like a good debate, I'd say.
But he would have to average 25. So, but that's a conversation for later in the year. Yeah, and with Ja, I think with this award also, I mean, good teams have good players, so that's kind of why they're all kind of in the playoffs. But team success doesn't really matter to me in the All-NBA teams. Like, Trae Young was the 8 seed, Ja was the 2 seed, but, like, Trae Young had the better year. Like, he had more points total, but he also averaged more. So, like, that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah, I mean, Trey, like it's tough to really devalue him with like how tremendous of a year he really had. Like it's another thing we've talked about throughout the season is like how he just went from like that dude to just underrated. But it's like I hate to be the postseason judger, but like look at him against Miami, and like it's he's got to take every shot though. Is the tough thing. They
You
didn't
got
have
KD on your team.
What'd you say?
You got KD on your team.
What do you mean?
Trae Young at least won a game.
I mean, yeah,
I'm just saying.
You could give him that. It's just he has to do everything too. Like he has to fire, he has to get his shooters in it. He has to even rebound sometimes. Like the whole offense runs through him, and like maybe it could have been different. I mean, we know
They also ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, they didn't stand a chance against them very much. Maybe it could have been different if Clint was more durable and
They would have won, I think, an extra game.
Yeah, maybe Collins, I was going to say, but Miami's good. Like I would have flashbacks to the bubble if we meet them in the conference finals, although two completely different teams, even though they have a great defense, but obviously we much better. And there's another thing Bill Simmons said, there's no Kemba Walker to hunt on the other end. Like we have the true point guard now.
Oh. People want to like crap on Julius Randle and Evan Fournier and whatever for the Knicks. Just because he's a nice guy, he's the kind of the real issue the Knicks had this year. They didn't have a point guard because of him.
I'm curious to see like what their decision is on him in come July.
He ain't going to be in a Knicks uniform.
I doubt it. It would be pretty funny too after them saying like, all right, we're just gonna focus, we're just gonna prepare you for next year. But like, it's just me, dude. It's like, I don't know if he's just not truthful about it. I mean, here we go, bringing it back 10 years again. But I think I told you, like in the bubble, the thing was like he didn't take his treatment. Like,
serious?
Yeah, and like he had like a knee injection. It didn't go well. And he was like saying like, oh, this is the best I felt. I'm ready to come back. Like once the season restarted, and then it was the same BS. Yeah. And then he was out last year until what? January, and then couldn't play back-to-backs the rest of the year.
Oh, I talking about the Celtics?
Yeah, I forgot about that. He didn't even come back till January-ish.
Yeah. All right. So third team, I am requesting to go second here. So you read your team first, because you might leave the podcast after who I have on this team.
DeMar DeRozan, Trae Young, Chris Paul, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay, that's kind of what I've seen everywhere. All right, so I got Ja. He's my point guard. Then I got Steph. I almost left Steph off on accident, but then I looked at his numbers. He wasn't as bad as people thought. Bad for his standards.
He looks back.
That's terrifying. DeMar DeRozan, 3. Pascal, 4. Ready for this guy?
Who?
The latest sting of the bee in the eye, Rudy Gobert.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna hit you with some numbers because, I mean, these are kind of surface numbers. They're not like in depth like people love nowadays. But Nikola Jokic. Rudy Gobert averaged 14.7 rebounds a game, 15.6, had a 71% field goal percentage, which led the league. Okay. He also had 2 blocks a game, which was third in the league behind Jaren Jackson and Robert Williams. And he is arguably one of the best defenders in the league. Not arguably, he is one of the best defenders in the league. So, what?
I'm sorry, continue.
The way I had it laid out, meaning like I had 2 centers basically in my first team. Who am I going to put as my last center? DeAndre Ayton? Bam Adebayo?
So, all I'm going to say is this is just like respect, but like this is just a heavy diss to Chris Paul. That's all I'm going to say. And the Suns.
I mean, Chris Paul averaged what? I mean, I know 15 and 11, 2.5 turnovers a game. That's incredible for him.
I overrated him. I said he was an all-star starter when we did them in the winter, and you were like, "You think he's an all-star starter at 14 points per game?"
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Chris Paul. That's all I got. Also, what am I going to – I'm going to go Steph, Trey – Steph, Ja, and Chris Paul. They probably wouldn't allow that.
Someone belongs on the third or second team.
You think Chris Paul should be over Trey Young?
I think
I have Trey Young on my second team, but do you think he should be over Trey Young?
It's a tough one. Yes. By a smidge, I do.
I don't know.
You're a big Trey guy since last June. You really are.
Still hate him. I mean, Trey Young did average like almost a double-double. And John Morant did miss a lot of time, and I don't care as much about like him, like them playing well without him. But he played 57 games, so he missed 25 games.
I mean, like for him though.
And Trey played 76 games.
That's impressive. But let's go back on Paul's career and like look at. Like,
I'm talking about John Morant.
Okay.
But Chris Paul, he'd be like my sixth man on my third team. Put it that way.
I look at the impact of winning, and like Trey is still a baby.
I can put this with you. I think he deserves it over Gobert, but I can't put 3 guards. And I think Trey deserves it over Chris Paul. That's the best way I can put it.
All right, I'm respecting it.
Right now you're like this fucking idiot.
No, I'm respecting it. I think the Gobert is just funny.
He gets overhated.
I don't think
he's a pretty good player.
I don't think it's dumb or nothing. That's just like I think.
I don't think it's dumb, but what the fuck you doing, man?
Oh, you're like, let me sneak him in.
All right, I think we can move on to the games now. The series coming up. What do you want to start with? You want to start with the West or the East?
Let's just talk about Philly, I guess, before we get into it, right?
Yeah, we'll start with that series. I forgot they're still in. So they took care of business. Toronto, good for them. But Memphis has to play tomorrow. Oh.
Yeah, they play after Boston.
So with Philly, took care of business with Toronto, as expected. There was a sliver of hope that they were gonna blow that, and then at the end of the game, Joel Embiid, what do you have? He has an orbital fracture and a mild concussion, so he's out indefinitely.
Yeah, and like,
you see what the Raptors announcers did?
No, but I don't like them. I will get into it after.
Embiid shouldn't have done this, but I didn't want him to get hurt. He was doing like an airplane down the court when they were up 30. And I'm all for like having fun, but when you're up 30, like there's no point in doing that. And then he got hit in the face. I think that might have been when he fractured his orbital bone.
It is, yeah.
And the announcers were like, well, that's what you get. And I'm like, you can think that. Like, as a Raptors fan, I kind of get it, but I don't condone injury. So, anyway, from just a basketball standpoint, they are screwed.
I mean, yeah, me and you, like, we talk about how much we don't like Philly. But
I don't want anyone getting hurt.
Yeah, don't like the 76ers, but we would never wish that upon anyone. And I've told you how annoyingly biased the announcers are. The girl, Kate Scott, ridiculously biased and annoying. If you hear some clips, you will laugh remembering me saying this. But the secondary...
Raptors?
Sixers.
Oh, okay.
The girl. So the secondary announcer used to play for Philly, and he did the same thing with Josh Giddey early in the season. They're in OKC, and he went down, and he was like, they're both incredibly biased. And the chick, you could tell when she gets super excited. And when Giddey goes down, he's just like, oh, like no offense to Josh Giddey, but like I could care less, like because something else was happening with like Embiid or another Philly
Yeah, and
player.
it's like you just don't say it.
Yeah,
You know, like just there's things that you can just not say.
And I never talked to you much about Tommy Heinsohn, but like,
Yeah, I'm not
so,
great with like announcers knowing them.
all right, so um, I'm turning back the clock a little on this one, but so the Toronto announcers, first of all, Tommy Heinsohn is the guy who passed away, all-time great Celtics player. You'll never see an icon for an organization be as dedicated as him. Like he's like Mr. Celtic, basically. Played, retired number 15, won championships, all-time player for them, coached, like Hall of Fame coach and player, and a Hall of Fame announcer. So he's incredibly biased with Boston. Like the Boston accent, they never committed a foul. Like he would go like, look at Marcus, like go nuts. Like it's hilarious. Like there was this one, just to educate you, like a brief synopsis. There's this one clip of Aaron Baines when he passed away last November when we were in one of the classes together. I think it was Persuasive Calm. Posted a big Instagram about it. So this is the year we had Kyrie in them. It's a preseason game, and he said this. I'm going to send you the video after it. But Aaron Baines was new on the team. Like this was just found that created that team. So like he's like, no, I'll tell you. He's like, I was looking at Baines in the shower, and he's like, and he looks like all of Australia. And like you just hear Mike Gorman, like the Celtic announcer, just start laughing.
That's bad.
So that's how Brian Scalabrine came up. Like he like was under Tommy Heinsohn's wing, stuff like that. And he's incredibly biased too, of course. But obviously, like Tommy was like Mr. Bias, but the Toronto announcers, I used to listen when we would play there, and like it would be an NBA TV game or streams, and have to listen to their broadcast. And they would say stuff. They'd be like, "Oh, Tommy Heinsohn, like the Celtics never committed a foul." I'd be thinking, like, you guys are no better. Like, you guys are yelling. Like,
you could be biased when it's your team. I mean, I don't mind that, but with the Raptors, like, just don't say a guy deserves to get hit in the face.
I like the main.
You could think but don't say it.
I don't like the secondary guy. Like, he's no better than Tommy Heinsohn, of course, and like obviously Tommy's a legend, and he was old. He was like 86 or something when he passed away. But like, it's just. I'm gonna ask you, where are we going with this? Announcers. You talked about the Toronto announcers. I talked about Tommy Heinsohn.
Oh, no, we were talking about the Philly. No, because the Toronto Raptor announcer was saying
the injury,
whatever. But, yeah, they're out now. But Philly, Miami, is Jimmy Butler playing?
I think he's
practicing
day-to-day as of right now. But, yeah, just my bad for getting off topic to you.
No, you're good.
And the audience. But it's just finish what you were saying.
I was just going to say, I don't know if Philly can really.
It's gonna be tough.
There's hope that he returns for this series.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's like, and do you trust James Harden?
Yeah, and like.
What you do?
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing.
Oh,
like that's the biggest thing, and Miami's defense is incredibly tough for them. Like they were already going to make it tough for them probably with Joel, even though it would have been a thriller of a series, and I probably would have picked Philly. But like, it's so unfortunate, and we've talked about. That's what I was about to get into. We've talked about how much we don't like Philadelphia, like being Boston and New York, but like. My one friend's a diehard fan. I feel for him, man. The unfortunate events that they've been through draft-wise, every spring, the Ben thing last year, this thing, like you finally get a good pairing, you get Harden, this happens. The Kawhi bounce, like it's unfortunate. Like I've said to you in the past about the Celtics, like unfortunate events through the years, like they have really bad luck every postseason, every spring, and it's tough. Like Doc was just getting done defending like why he blew the leads in his series. Like he poured his heart out about it, and you could tell he was sensitive. And he was saying like what happened.
I didn't agree with that at all.
Yeah, and like I kind of didn't too. Like he said like, oh, the bubble was tough.
You can blame it on everyone basically, except for you.
He's saying like, look at that Orlando team. And
Like,
what he
like,
left
dude,
out
like,
was last season. Like last season he blew too.
and I love how he throws in that obviously I have to be better. Like after
Yeah.
you say all that, we all know that's
He's
just
like, I know I gotta keep being better.
that's just a PC. Like, come on. Like, first of all, you've blown the leads. Like, it's not like 3-1 lead, you can't win one game. And like obviously it happens a lot. Oh my god, if they would have blown that lead, that would have been bad.
Yeah, and like that's the amazing thing. Like you escape blowing this Doc Rivers cinema that we
And
all
then
saw.
if the Raptors would have won the game and Embiid was hurt, who knows what happens in Game 7?
Wow, I didn't even think of that. But what I was going to say was like you somehow escape the collapse, and like Doc, being Doc, leaves him out up 29 with under 4 minutes to go. That happens. Like you'd rather have that Game 7 in Toronto or in Philly with him healthy and this happening. You're going against Miami and him being out indefinitely. Now they are hopeful.
It is a bad matchup, though.
Yeah, like you're hopeful he like could be back later on in the series, but like, man, what are you doing with that? Like, how do you let that happen? Like, you escape it, and then he says after the game, "I think I broke my face seriously," and then it comes out on a Friday night.
Is he gonna wear the mask when he comes back? If he comes back?
Yeah, I'd assume. I saw StatMuse tweeting it, and it's gonna be. I don't know. Maybe they're just hopeful and no surgery. I'm sure they're gonna monitor it day by day. I think it took like 3 weeks. I saw like one of the doctors tweet that like whenever it happened to him last or another player they compared, I forget, but it took like 2 to 3 weeks. So it's gonna take time, but
yeah, but it'll also be probably accelerated a little bit because of the playoffs. But now it's on Harden, and I don't know, like Maxi's good, but this defense that they're going up against is nothing. Like it's like Miami is Toronto. Like I'm gonna reverse this. Toronto is a watered down Miami. Like Miami is Toronto with more talent.
I've thought this. Yeah, the culture, the organization, the coaching, the front office.
Now they don't have a guy with the ceiling of Scotty Barnes. I will say that. But as of right now,
I like that take.
But as of right now, like Butler, Bam, Tyler Herro could score. Oladipo even played pretty well. Like the last play of the game of their series, switch locked up, like corner doubled. Like there is not a breath of fresh air at all against them, and that's going to be really tough for James Harden, who is going to complain about foul calls all series.
Yeah. They need Houston Harden, and like if he doesn't come out like that, you're done for. And like you need Maxey to be aggressive, Danny Green, you need him to play like how he did in Game 6. Tobias was good in the beginning of the series. My friend was saying, he's like, "Can you at least get me to the conference championship? Like that's all I want, dude. Like they haven't been to one since Iverson in 01."
I don't know. I didn't think they were going to win with Embiid.
I thought they were the favorites in the Heat series, but I thought it was definitely scary.
Yeah, so, I mean, Butler is probably going to play. Lowry's out, but Lowry's role on that team is very, like, replaceable. Like Max Strus is kind of like a fill-in for them, and they kind of move around. I don't know. The Heat just have a lot of not replaceable parts, but a lot of, what's that term we used to use all the time in school? Interchangeable parts.
Next man.
Yeah, like a lot of like all their pieces fit into the same puzzle. Like they have guys that are versatile, and that helps when a guy gets hurt. Like if Bam gets hurt, which that's big. That's big in the playoffs, but in the regular season, you have like Yurtseven, you have guys that can Dwayne Dedman. if you really need to, Udonis Haslam, but we don't know. And then if Tyler Herro gets hurt, you have guys like Gabe Vincent, Oladipo, Butler can obviously score. So I don't know. I just think Miami is just so deep that Jimmy Butler didn't play games 5 or 6 for Atlanta, 5, right?
Yeah.
And they handled it. I think it would be the same score if Butler played, and that's not a knock on Butler. That's just a compliment to how well they just adjust.
I mean, and we've said best coach in the league too, and Bam thought he could have won Defensive Player of the Year, and they're not, like I said, they're not Boston on defense, but they're up there close to it, and
yeah,
they will run you out the gym, and
and people forget they were in the finals 2 years ago.
Coming into the year, I wrote this whole Kyle Lowry thing, and I was like, they're going to be probably arguably a 1 seed or one of those teams, and now it's all coming to fruition, and the personnel, interchangeable parts, like you said, it's just amazing for Philly because, last week we were like, this is going to be over in 5, and I was telling you how my friends were laughing that I picked them in 7, and it's amazing how Jalen Rose said it. He was like, not only do you take him out the game in game 6, but you got to close that series out when you can. You can't let it go back to Toronto. Now you give
with a shot
Toronto,
where you can lose, and
you lose, you let the series go for longer than it should have with Toronto having injuries. You go back to a hostile environment. Now this is going to carry. Look what happened to Joel, for example. Now all this carries over going to South Beach Monday night. So
yeah, and it's also Miami's had more time off now. Jimmy Butler's getting healthier. James Harden's, a little heavy, a little chubby. We all know his off-season habits aren't great for a basketball player. Obviously, for the common human, I don't think he's doing anything illegal. From what we know, he's not. I'm not putting that on him though. I'm not saying he's doing that, but you get what I'm saying. He goes to clubs, drinks. What?
He's hitting the clubs.
Yeah, he's hitting the clubs. He's the average guy. So, but when you're a professional basketball player, though, then that's a problem because then you're getting heavier, So I am not saying James Harden's a criminal because he's not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's a partier, which is good for you. But playoff time, it's going to come back to bite you.
This was and that's the sad thing about it is this was all right, now is your time. No excuses. We put this team together for both of you, for the city, for this organization.
Yeah.
No excuses. And nut up or shut up. And it sucks, man. It really does. And I'm not one to feel bad for that organization, but I really do.
So what's your outcome on the series?
I mean, what do you tell me? I want to hear yours first.
See, I'm going to look at it this way. Atlanta healthy is the same thing as Philly without Embiid. So Miami in 5. Who had a better year, Trae Young or James Harden?
I agree with you on that one. I like
Who's had more playoff success?
I was that could be a bold take with how young he is. But
I thought that on the fly.
I like it. I was thinking maybe 2 games. I'll go Heat in 5, sure.
Okay. All right. We'll move to the West now. We'll save the Celtics for last. Dallas, Phoenix. I love this series.
Yeah, thriller, dude.
So Luka just bullied Jazz. Although they had a shot to tie it, they got an open look. That was a good game. But Luka's back, he's healthy. Jalen Brunson, his price is going up every day, and I hate it because I want him on the Knicks.
Yeah. Pistons want him with Cade, too.
Yeah, so with Phoenix, they're the 1 seed, and deservedly so. They kind of limped. Booker didn't play, but New Orleans did not look overmatched.
Well, that's just the credit they deserve. Like we talked about last
Yeah.
week, Willie Green, McCollum, Zion's
Jose Alvarado,
up in the right way.
Herb
Jose
Jones.
Ingram is like my friend said it to me the other. Like he's a better playmaker than Tatum. I would say. Like he's. I mean, we know who's the better player, but like he got 11 assists the other night, and like it
Yeah.
was they're going to be good next year. Like not contenders, but a playoff team.
Yeah, I think we said
And
this last week. Remember when we hated the McCollum deal?
look how great it is, and like how
Yeah.
beautiful of a fit he is for the organization. And like Herbert Jones is good, and like that guy Trey Murphy. It's like, yeah,
Valanciunas is good.
forgot about him. Yeah, it
I
really.
don't know why the Grizzlies gave him up.
Yeah, I think it was for mainly a pick and like something with salary. But like that was definitely, yeah, I agree with that. But it's like credit to New Orleans. I mean, Book was hurt. It was a really good series, especially in New
But
Orleans.
he might still be hurt. He came back from a hamstring strain in a week.
He'll progress by the game, kind of like Rob Williams did.
I don't know. I mean, I still think Aiton's soft. I'm going to call him soft the entire time he's in the league.
He's been playing good though. Like,
I know. I just like to call him soft.
comes out in the postseason.
Yeah.
Just kind of like Butler.
I think we can agree Luka's better than Chris Paul. Okay, and then let's go through matchups. So Luka's better than Chris Paul. Book is better than Brunson. I feel like Mikal Bridges and Dorian Finney-Smith are like the same player.
You're wrong on that one.
You think Bridges is better?
Because like Dorian's a role player. On Phoenix, he'd be a role player. Mikal is like a big piece moving forward.
Oh no, I think Bridges is really good.
And like he could have won Defensive Player of the Year himself. You know, like that's what separates them is like his ceiling and what he does on the other end. Dorian's just like a stand-up, yeah, let me fit in the system and knock down the three ball with Reggie Bullock.
Well, I would say actually Dorian's the 4, so Bullock is the 3. Bridges is better than Bullock. Dorian Finney-Smith or Jay Crowder.
Dorian. But Crowder's got the experience, so that's very tough. Like he's been there with Miami, been there at Boston.
And then I think Ayton has the edge over Powell or Kleber or whoever's playing.
There's no size there. But that forget about the interior. Like this is going to be a well-coached battle, I feel like, and just a good series. Like this is a good series to compare player by player as well, because like
like on the bench, Dinwiddie's probably the best bench player out of both teams.
Yeah, I mean,
he's better than Cam Payne.
I was thinking him.
Cam Johnson's pretty good, but he's not better than Dinwiddie.
Who'd you say?
Cam Johnson.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think he got votes for Sixth Man of the Year candidate, but yeah, I wouldn't say he's the offensive weapon. Spence at the end of
Dallas
the day.
Dinwiddie, not Spencer, not Washington.
Yeah, totally. But this is a really good series. I mean, I really want to pick the Mavs. It's just like I might pick Dallas in 7. I think I might be down.
That's your pick?
Like we're gonna be in Phoenix 2 games. I think each home team wins. I think that is a big chance. I was going to say about Utah, like Dallas could have won it in 5, say, if
Luka plays, like the whole series.
Well, that, first of all, I didn't even think of that, but the one game, the night the Celtics played game 3, when he had the pass inside to Gobert and he dunked the alley-oop. Yeah. I forget what else. Oh, he gave up an and 1, or Dallas gave up an and 1.
And the Mavs missed a free throw.
Yeah, and Luka hit – who was it? Dwight Powell?
It was a big man. I think it might have been Powell.
Yeah, I think it was
actually
him.
Like he's pretty solid. Like he fits them really well. He fits them better than Porzingis because he could pass.
Yeah, and that was some dagger by Luka. They could have finished it early, but I had fun trivia question for you. Where did Dwight Powell start his career?
Oh, I feel like it's got to be Boston, but is it Boston?
He was in the Rondo trade back in 2015, and he never played with us, like never, and we used him he came from Stanford or something like that, and
Yeah.
we used him as like part of that deal. Like he was sent in the Rondo trade, and he's been there ever since. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Might be one of the longest tenured Mavs, probably they.
Yeah, I think with this series, I think the Mavs have the best player in the series. I think we said this with the Celtics, like the Nets had the best player in the series in theory, and then Tatum and Brown were 2 and 3 because of the unknown of Kyrie. And then,
yeah, we were saying like Tatum was definitely the 2, but we definitely didn't think he would clamp Kevin. And
yeah, like it turned into Brown and Tatum Tatum and Brown were 1 and 2, and then
beautiful, man.
So Mavs are the best player in the series. Booker's a little banged up.
Mavs in 7.
Going Mavs in 7.
We're doing it. Let's do it.
Going Mavs. I think I'm holding my ground. What did I say? Like, what's it, like 2 months ago now with your friend? What did I say? Mavs, watch out for them. And I love their value on, I will say, an unknown app because we're not sponsored by them. And, you can get in trouble. Even though we have like 7 viewers. Shout out to all 7 of you guys.
I told you I think they're better than Memphis.
For sure, yeah. I think if they don't play the Suns, if they played like Golden State or Memphis, I think they win. You
think Dallas beats Golden State?
I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, let's look at the futures. So Dallas, according to this app, why am I struggling? Oh, they are plus 750 to win the West.
It's got to be like 3rd best odds, 2nd.
4th. They have Dallas over Dallas. I mean, they have Memphis over Dallas.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But I would probably pick them against. I would like to pick them against the Grizzlies.
Is Luka the best player left in the West, or Steph?
This season, you could argue Doncic, but you got to give. If the Warriors win the finals, I saw Jay Williams said it. I agree.
Shocked.
Top 10 all time. Steph,
probably, for sure.
Or he'd have a Finals MVP. Finally, he'd have a 4th title. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Luka. I think he might be the best player in the West right now. So
yeah, he probably is.
I think the way Jalen Brunson's playing, it kind of gives me that Fred VanVleet vibe from a couple years ago.
It's a good comparison. Plays very similar.
Looks like Kyler Murray, like exactly. Oh my god! I'm like, yo, why is Kyler Murray playing basketball? Like even like they have not dreadlocks.
The afro a little bit.
It's like short dreadlocks they have. They look exactly alike. Like body type, like they're both like short and stocky, and I'm like, wow.
Me and my friend who's the diehard Sixer fan, is obsessed with the Cowboys too. Rob Williams looks just
weird.
Like
That's really weird.
Like twins with Randy Gregory.
Robert, yeah, well, he's off. He's on Denver now. So we're Dallas in 7. We're agreeing on that one.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move now. Golden State, Memphis. I don't think Memphis stands a shot in this series.
I'll give Warriors in 6. I don't think they're not going to cruise through these playoffs.
The way I look at it, Memphis had to come back 4 times, and you're not doing that against Golden State.
I don't know how they didn't lose last night. Towns' terrible decision making at the end. McLaughlin was low key the MVP and McDaniels, and then Tyus Jones hits crazy straight on buzzer beater wide open, to end the shot clock in one of the last few minutes to put them up 7 or something. And Desmond Bain came up clutch, and they just came back so much this series, like you said, kept their heads in it. I wanted to see a game 7. It was disappointing. Edwards is awesome. He's gonna be fun to watch for a while.
I love John Morant. No one's doubting you, man. You're the 2 seed for a reason, and Yeah, and people doubt you because this is like your first time that you guys are good. You think everyone believed in the Warriors at first? No one believed in Phoenix last year. Like it's just the way it
Exactly.
is.
Yeah.
We all thought Atlanta was gonna be the 1 seed this year. Look what they did. Um, so yeah, with this series, I just think Golden State just when they're clicking, I think they're the best team in the West. I just think Clay was hurt, Steph was
I'd say
banged
in the
up.
league too, in my opinion.
Yeah, Draymond was hurt. So depending on how Ja plays, all because he's been kind of getting off the slow starts, but you can't do that against Golden State. You can't because and then Jordan Poole's emergence too. So yeah, I think Warriors get this in 5.
I think Kevin O'Connor said it from the Ringer. I think Poole, if they win it, he could have like a Kawhi Finals MVP type deal. Maybe.
Also, Poole might be a little pissed off. He didn't win the Most Improved. Might be a little
I
pissed
think
off.
he was my pick. Like I said,
Yeah,
he's
and
special. This team's
I don't,
fun. Like
I don't know
Draymond
why. Yeah,
back
well,
and
who
forth.
had a? Sorry, my bad.
I was. It sounded like I was saying Draymond's back in full form. He is, but I was going to say the whole team. Really, that's the biggest thing.
I don't know why people have such a hard time or we're very defensive against the fact that DeJounte Murray should be considered like a most improved candidate. Like,
Did you see?
yeah, he should be.
Did you
I
see
say he
his?
should win it, but he should be a candidate.
I agree too. Like I thought you remember me saying in like January, I thought it was ridiculous that like he was getting all-star disrespect and like he wasn't a pick right away. But did you see his tweet about Levine?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get into Levine when the season ends. I actually didn't know he was a free agent.
I mean, his quote doesn't look too good too. He sounds like he's going like open-minded into it. Maybe he likes San Antonio, honestly, because he has relationships with Pop. When the
That would
Celtic
be
a year ago, Celtic fans wanted him.
that would be pretty good fit. Damn, imagine DeRozan leaves San Antonio to go to Chicago and then Levine goes to San Antonio.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. That'd be something. That'd be a special backcourt too.
But I think Levine has become so underrated that he's become a little overrated. Like I think he's a fine player, but he's not in like the likes of like Mitchell, Booker, Tatum.
No,
He's not in those likes. Like Jordan Poole might pass him.
that's a bold take. Well,
I'm
I mean,
full of them today.
going forward,
Going forward, I mean,
yeah,
I
you
just
never
think
know.
Levine kind of plateaued a little bit.
And that was his thing. Was like, are you a superstar? Like, that's people thought they gave that deal to DeRozan wasn't to like be this contender and like really good team. They thought like that the team was thinking, all right, like we don't believe in you as a superstar, and we
And
like we're
yeah,
not signing you next year.
also Lonzo got hurt,
I
and
mean,
they
yeah,
drew a terrible matchup.
I've been saying to everyone. I mean, they wanted to beat Milwaukee, of course, but they would have been a big threat. Like you're missing a lot with him, and we've praised
Yeah,
him all season long on this pod. Like 3-pointer, one of the best shooters in the league. Defense can cover multiple positions, can rebound, vision like Rajon Rondo. Transition, he's amazing. Ben
yeah,
Simmons, Rondo, Chris Paul. He's got that sort of IQ. I know we shouldn't. Like Ben's not in the place to be thrown in that category, but you know we've seen how he is in transition.
yeah. All right, so your boys are up last. Well, not last. They're on tomorrow, or yeah, you guys will see this by the time we get out tonight. Celtics Bucks. Celtics don't have the best player in the series, but they didn't against the Nets.
Second,
And I believe in also hot teams win. When you get hot, it's hard to slow you down, especially in the playoffs when you're playing the same team over and over because you're just going to get more comfortable. Nothing against Milwaukee because they do have a guy named Giannis who I don't know if you saw something. You know, like the saying real G's move in silence like lasagna?
was it him saying he hasn't seen Boston play?
No, someone said real G's move in silence like Giannis. But
He,
anyway, what's up?
nah, just referring to what I was saying. Like he was just being a funny guy. I mean, I don't believe it, but like after the Chicago series, they asked Budenholzer about Boston, and he was like, I mean, you'd have to live under a rock to see they haven't been the best
Yeah,
team in the league, the best defense in the league,
for sure.
versatile stuff like that. And then Giannis is like, oh, like I mean, I thought the beginning was funny when he's like, I don't watch basketball, like I'm with my son sweating, like I get really intense. But then he's like, I haven't seen what Boston's done. Like I don't watch basketball. I just know they're
That's not really an insult to Celtics either. It's just some guys just like they're so invested in like their own team and like that. And also, if they're playing, you're probably playing too at the same time. So like,
Yeah, I don't think I didn't look at it as like an insult. I just thought like, all right, you're on social media, you have to see like some of it, and you're trying to be funny for the most part. But I did see Boston fans did like that account that I write for, Guy Boston Sports, like made it seem like that. Like on Twitter, they're like, oh, like he
yeah,
throws stuff at this, throws shade at the Celtics.
he's like the last guy to
Guy,
do that.
yeah.
But
And I
so
will.
who's starting for Middleton?
I
Is it
don't
going to
know.
be Grayson Allen or Pat Connaughton?
I mean, we know Grayson Allen was really good in of the beginning part of the series, so it's one of the two. You'd have to look it up on ESPN.
Neither.
Who was it?
Drew Drew Holiday, Wesley Matthews, Bobby Portis, Giannis, Brook Lopez.
Yeah. So Wesley, they're just used to like he fits well with.
Are they missing someone else?
No, I don't believe so. But Wesley fits well because it's like he's just a spot up shooter. I mean, like we've seen him have big games through national TV, or not big games, but hit big shots. But it's like Connaughton has had success against Boston in the playoffs before. Grayson Allen, we see, is just a good weapon now. It's going to be tough. And I will say this, like, if you knew me, like, beyond, like, what do we mean, like 2020? So say before
Yeah,
then, we had
around
the
there.
Kyrie Irving teams, the Isaiah Thomas teams. I've been wanting a Celtic Warriors final since 2016-17 when we ended the home streak with Isaiah Thomas. Because every time they play, it's amazing. Like, amazing matchup, the coaching. We play good D on the splash bros, Steve Kerr, Brad Stevens in the past, even Udoka now. That's how it is with Milwaukee. Like, it's always a dogfight. We saw it on Christmas Day. We kind of had their number for the beginning part of this year. I mean, Giannis didn't play one of the games, and then the second to last game of the season, believe it was, the one I was telling you about that we just sailed in, or that it seemed like we weren't, that we were going to win, and we ended up losing. But we didn't have Horford or Tatum in Milwaukee, and we almost won. It's 2-2 season series, and like for years now, like they've been meeting a lot. We saw them lose with Kyrie. 2018, we beat them in that thriller of a 7-game series when it was Tatum's rookie year. Always a great matchup, really always is. But like I said before, like, yeah, like they're still a tough team, defending champs, and they have those two guards that can fill his role easily. But it's just Middleton is Michael Jordan against Boston, and he's shown it in the playoffs, and Celtic fans could agree. Of course, people who watch them as well. And like, that's a big loss, especially when we saw what he did in the finals. I still sort of believe that like that's maybe why they gave him the edge over Jalen for the All-Star game, even though he has had a nice year. But his playmaking is up, his rebounding, he can bring up the ball, hit clutch shots. It's just like he's a big loss because he takes a lot of shots at the end and he's a clutch piece. So it's tough to like act like that. Again, them against the Seas, it's tough to act like that. That's that big of a miss. So I'll say I want to say 6, but I'll say Celtics in 7.
Okay. We're gonna go through the players. Drew Holiday or Marcus Smart. I think we can kind of agree Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sad. You hear the sadness in my voice.
Yeah, but Jalen Brown or Wesley Matthews next.
Yep.
Um,
Giannis Tatum.
I was gonna put Portis at the 3 here because Giannis is bigger.
should we just match like Portis with Horford? I'll take playoff Horford over
Yeah,
Portis.
and then Giannis or Tatum, I'm probably taking Giannis.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a thriller of like a duel between the two like we did with the last series. I mean, we saw who won.
And then I'm probably taking Robert Williams over Brook Lopez.
Yes.
Okay, so it's pretty even. I think the Celtics win this series because Middleton's out. Tatum and Brown Giannis can't do it alone, and Drew Holiday is he's a scorer-ish. Like he averaged 18 a game. He played well in the playoffs. He had 15, 15, 16, 26, and 10. And he barely played against never mind. Scratch that. I thought it was a playing game, but they didn't play a playing game. Rich, what are you talking about? But
you're good.
I think the Celtics win this series in 6. I think they're red hot, and just Giannis doesn't have any help right now. I mean, Drew Holiday is the most he has. I'm not relying on Grayson Allen scoring 27 every night. I will say this though. This is another bold take. Go on.
Actually, continue. We're good. Continue.
No, go on, because you're going to be shocked. Not shocked, but you're going to have a reaction to my take.
I got to urinate again, but I'll let you finish.
Oh, okay. So if Giannis wins this series and Middleton's still out, he wins that series. Still out. Wins the next series. Giannis, and he wins the NBA Finals. Giannis is a top 10 player of all time.
Yeah. Like people were saying like they'd have to put him in the Jordan category. Like even
that's an if. Like there's a long way to go. But Jordan, to do that alone again in this Eastern Conference, yeah. So go pee, and we'll come back in a second.
It's the coffee, dude.
Yep. So, like we guys said, just if you guys want to find any extra episodes, we got them on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. I'll tag all the links. It's also available on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, probably our most popular. We actually got a viewer from Brazil, so thank you to that person. Let us know if you want us to cover any topics or any certain teams that you want to talk about, or if you have a question for us to answer on the podcast, that'd be greatly appreciated. Tell your friends, enemies, tell everyone. Like I said, enemies too. Who cares? If they view the podcast and they like it, then that's good for them. You might not like them, but if they like us, then we appreciate it.
I heard you. I like that idea.
What?
I said I heard you. We should just get ideas from them.
Yeah, we gotta branch out a little bit more, obviously. But all right, so I think Celtics in 6. But if Giannis does win this series, I mean, he's just checking boxes off like every time he plays. It feels like.
And it's funny because I don't think I ever told you this, but I used to be nah, let's see him.
I called him overrated like a couple years ago.
Yeah, same. That's what I was going to say. Let's see him get a bag and actually do it. And then he proved me wrong last year. And then I have, talked him up ever since. And rightfully so. But like you said, it begins with this series. This begins the championship path for them, obviously. Same with Boston. So, this is going to be a finals-like series like we thought it was going to be with Brooklyn, even though each game was good. It starts here. If you beat them without Middleton, if you beat the Heat or Sixers without Middleton, and then you beat maybe the Suns again, or then you beat Dallas or Golden State, especially. Imagine he beat Golden State without Middleton. He really will be the Jordan LeBron category. Say he wins another championship and a Finals MVP. Absolutely, and imagine he puts up another 1 or 2 50-point games again. In June, and it's just I like the Celtics in 6 pick, and I think ESPN, that girl Malika Andrews who does NBA Today, was saying she sees it in the Celtics, just like everyone else. Like I said, Vegas is at one point they had that buzzer beater win compared to the Bucks of last year. Said the Bucks had that buzzer beater win against the Heat, and then like it just looked like something special was going.
Yeah.
Kind of compared it to the Tatum layup against Brooklyn in Game 1, and said there's something about them that's clicked, and like they look on point, like they're not skipping a beat. And it's just like the way the two teams matched up length and just body and athleticism and defense wise. Like Milwaukee's terrific on defense too. We were talking about Boston and Miami. But like Grant Williams and like Derek White, for example, like on the defensive end, they're going to have to be big. But I like the Celtics in 6 pick. I'll go 7. And that was my thing coming in was like, if we get robbed, I'll be confident against them. But let's take it one game at a time. I'll say 7, sure.
Would you like the Celtics in this series if Middleton played?
I'd probably say the same thing, realistically.
Yeah. Okay.
I like 6. I want to lean more towards 6, but I'll take the not-so-biased pick, and I'll say 7.
Because I personally think if Middleton was playing, I think the Bucks win this series. I just think he gives you a different element, and like and you said, he becomes Michael Jordan. So
a lot of people think that. I think I saw Shaq said that. Like that's the deciding factor. Out of the TNT crew, though, Chuck was the only one that picked Milwaukee. I like that.
Yeah. Over under. How many fights did Grayson Allen and Marcus Smart get into?
I like that take.
2 or 3? There's 7 games.
It's tough though, because like Marcus is like
he's so locked in.
Yeah, and well that too, but it's like he hasn't done that in a while. Like he had some like words for like Norman Powell in the bubble, and then he got into it with Tristan Thompson on the Cavs before he was a Celtic. I could be forgetting one other moment, but like the bubble, for example, and Norman Powell and the Raptors, like you see him put his arm around and like talk to Kyle Lowry all series, like two veterans that have been in the Atlantic Division going at it for a while. Fred, now he's just like Mr. Nice Guy that everyone loves. Like even him and KD are boys because like they just respect like each other's work ethic on both ends. And like you probably heard, I think Marcus was saying that on the JJ pod that we've talked about, but it's like I could see Grayson. It's different. We saw what he did to Caruso back.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it would be a fight from like talking. I think if like he goes to cheap shot somebody, Marcus Smart's gonna be the first guy there.
Oh yeah, of course. If that was to happen, then like 2 to 3.
Oh
yeah.
God.
But like if it was just nothing, I'll give the over under at 2 for the whole series.
That's a good number.
It was like nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. I think that's all we got for this week.
Did we do our awards last week?
No, I don't think.
I don't think we did either. We don't got to do
No.
them. Like I got them written down if you want to.
We can. I mean, do you know when they come out? Because we could probably wait on that for the next week when like the games are kind of in play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because I mean, Most Improved's out already, but like
PPOI.
I think those come out like right before the finals, so we got some time for those.
Yeah, we do.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, I think that's all we got.
Yep.
I plugged everything already when you were draining your coffee. But great episode. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Sorry we delayed it a couple of days. It's supposed to be Wednesday, but I got some family stuff going on. So besides that though, like I said, thank you for listening. Rob, you have anything new coming out? Or also listen to the Bleed Green Pod. It's Rob's personal podcast, mostly Celtics talk. If you want to hear them go back 10 years, get on that podcast.
Thank you, pal. I appreciate that. I assume I'll do one talking about the second round. Like I said, I haven't like ranting about. I think my rants about how the series ended are good. Like I don't have to go back 10 years with that one again. Maybe I will when I'm in front of the phone, but like this is fine. And I'll just look forward to Milwaukee and predict some other series.
Yep. Alrighty, well.
It was good though.
That's all we got this week. I hope you guys think Rudy Gobert's on the third team. If you do, I'll give you $1. Besides that, good talking. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Celtics. See you, Rich. I'll text you.
Word. See you later.
Powell.